I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We are joined by Mirai Xavier. Hi.
Hi.
Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Sure thing. My name is Mirai Xavier. I am a VTuber on Twitch. I am typically called a Benitton, as lovingly coined by my community, because I am both a cat and a bunny. I come from a planet very far away called Leporos, and I'm an oracle. And so when I felt that the Earth was in need of some love and some happiness and whatnot, I came here and decided to become a VTuber to spread happiness and joy to everybody.
Well, we appreciate
In reality, I'm actually a 35-year-old woman who lives with my two cats, and I just do VTubing as a full-time career, full-time job now.
Only two cats, huh?
I had three, but unfortunately I had to put one down back in March because he had I'm trying to think, he had congestive heart failure, I believe they said it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
don't worry, I would love to have 10 more cats, but I don't think I can handle it right now.
Well, we have 9.
9? Oh my gosh.
Yes. 2 that we originally had.
The last time I had 9, I was living at home with my parents. I was really young.
Yeah.
And my parents would usually do like a, what they would call like a TNR kind of volunteer program. So they would trap, neuter, and release the cats back into the neighborhood. And typically what they would do is they would just release the cat like back into their backyards.
Right.
And the cat would end up staying.
Well, that's exactly what's happened to us, because the 7 that adopted us were all released at the same time, and they all came to our house.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to have a lot of cats nearby, you know?
Well, they're in the family now. they're in and out.
Right, absolutely.
Our original 2 are just indoors, but these guys are in and out, and when we sit out on the porch, my wife is completely surrounded and can't move, so she's...
Hey, I would be more than happy to die by multiple cats sitting on top of me, too. I mean, it's okay.
So when did you get started with the VTubing stuff?
So VTubing specifically, I got started with back in 2022. I was working a job that, I'll be totally honest, I really wasn't enjoying that much. It wasn't something that like was totally out of my wheelhouse. But it wasn't really anything that I like could see myself doing as like a long-term career kind of thing. And on top of that, I guess I was so disinterested in it that they noticed that my production was not doing as well as other people, and so they were kind of planning on letting me go anyway. I ended up having a conversation with a couple of my friends. You know, they have jobs and they have things that they, you know, maybe it's not the best job in the world, but it follows like kind of what they've wanted to do anyway.
Right.
And they're all pretty much happy in their job. They like what they do, but I'm just over here like, I don't know what I want to do. And so my friends basically just were like, well, what do you want to do? Like, if you could just blurt out something right now, what would you want to do? And I said, I want to be a VTuber.
Yeah.
And they were actually really cool about it. They were like, okay, then just do that. Like, what are you waiting for? You're gonna get laid off in a few weeks anyway. Like, just get started, get set up. We'll help you. And so that's kind of how I got started. I had been streaming like off and on, kind of like as a hobby for plenty of years prior. Never really got totally like invested in it or whatever. I used to play like PSP games on like Ustream. That's how long I've been kind of around the streaming thing. But finally locked in and decided that this was what I wanted to do for a long time back in 2022. And honestly, I have loved it so much so far. So I'm excited to see where the future goes from here.
Excellent. Now, so you obviously came in knowing some VTubers and having watched some, and of course you were streaming before. So were there any VTubers that you took a little more liking to than others that you were watching more often?
Yes, there were a couple actually. One of them was Chibidoki,
Hmm.
who I'm sure a lot of people know. Totally Gremlin vibes. I love the heck out of her. There was another one too. Her name was Faye Runa. I know she's like kind of around. I don't think she streams as much anymore. But if you like go back and watch her videos like on YouTube and whatnot, she had like the same kind of Gremlin vibes and all of that. So they were my two biggest like role models for when I decided to get started in VTubing.
Chibidoki is about as unhinged as it gets.
I know, and I love her energy. I love like how uppity she is and whatnot. Like I can't get enough of her.
Well, so you didn't pattern your work with anybody else's, or did you kind of try to do that when you first got started?
So when I first got started, I didn't really have like a persona or
Hmm.
anything that I was like aiming to do. I got like a $40 model off of Booth, and there's a couple of people that use it. It's like this Jenny older sister model type thing,
Hmm.
and so at first I was like, well, let's just see how this goes, and however I act on stream, I act on stream, and we'll just go from there. But then it started becoming more like, okay, I was acting like a gremlin, and I was saying stupid unhinged crap on stream, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I feel more comfortable here. But then I started working with this person. Her name is Nana. She was the one that did my model art rigging and whatnot,
Right.
and she made it more so that like, my character was more, I don't want to say like young or lolly because that's not at all the case. She was just more chibi. She was just
Yeah.
more cute
Yeah.
looking. And so I was like, putting this energy with this model would absolutely be perfect for like a gremlin VTuber. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I bet this is what I'm going with. And ever since I debuted that model, that's kind of been where we've been. So
So so so it basically happened naturally, organically. You kind of grew into
yes,
that.
it did.
But it
Mhm.
is this the you also off screen? Are you as much a gremlin in real life?
My friends would like to say I am. I think I am if you took my energy online or in streaming and multiplied it maybe by like three, and then that's me in reality. So it's really not that far off from how I am in real life.
So just naturally settled. Water finds its own place, and and so did
Hmm.
you.
Yeah. Yep. Basically.
So when you got started and realized that you had an audience,
Hmm.
with not just the little streaming you did before, but now with as Mirai,
Hmm.
how did that hit you? That other people are coming now to see you a little more and more and more each time.
Um, it's I don't know. It's been kind of organic, kind of like how everything else has happened up to this point. I see people that come in totally brand new, and we all welcome them, and we're so glad that they're here. My mods take a second to welcome them too, and whatnot. Uh, I have my regulars, and every time they come in, we have our regular jokes. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on
Yeah,
your stream, but I'm just
18
gonna say
plus.
there's one person that keeps coming in, and I think every morning they're just like, "Good morning, everyone. It is now Pussy Day," and it's literally Pussy Day every day. So we have those kind of people too. I don't know. I want to say my brain hasn't totally registered yet
Mm,
that this is happening. I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. But that's okay.
mm.
Because I'm just living it one day at a time. But I mean, I do look at numbers on, things like Twitch and on YouTube and on TikTok, like analytics and whatnot. And it, like I said, hasn't totally hit me yet, but I think it's gonna hit me at some point in time, hopefully pretty soon. But I'm honestly really excited about the growth that we've made just in general. I'm super excited right now for everything. I've been excited since day one, and I'm just gonna continue to be excited about anything that happens from this point.
Well, it's very obvious that how much you're enjoying it and how much how much you've embraced it. But it also
Yeah.
seems to have embraced you in the process.
Yeah.
Is it become more than you thought it was going to be?
Maybe a little bit. I think I was talking to somebody a couple nights ago, and I was like, I thought content creating on YouTube would be simple. Like, I could just take some shorts from like my streams and post those, and people would just go stupid over them, like that kind of thing. But no, I actually have to use my brain meat, and I have to actually think things out sometimes. And like, when am I going to post it? What is it going to say? Where am I going to post it? That kind of thing. So those kind of things I'm kind of brand new to. Keeping track of analytics, keeping track of, all right, when are your viewers here most? Following the newest game trends and stuff like that. All of that is kind of new to me. There are times where I just want to go and play Earthbound for the 30th time, and I just don't feel like I can.
Yeah.
So, you have to give up some things every now and then, but honestly, like, at the end of the day, it's fine if I wanted to go play Earthbound for the 30th time. I can do that in my own spare time.
Yeah.
I can play all these new games and whatnot and share them with my viewers on stream. And honestly, that's probably much better than anything else. I actually love the commentary that my viewers give me whenever I'm playing like the newest Legend of Zelda, for instance. I love the commentary that they make every time I use beds as bridges and whatnot.
Hey, it works.
It does. Hey, it does. Does it get me from point A to point B? If the answer is yes, I'm going to use it.
That's right. So it's not your fault it's in the game like that.
Yeah. If they didn't want me to sprawl out 6 different beds just to get me from over this cliff, then maybe they shouldn't have put, that kind of mechanic in the game.
That's exactly right. You're pointing out the flaws, yet still lovingly embracing them.
Yes, absolutely. But it's really a flaw if they allowed me to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's actually just a mechanic at this point.
Well, the way it sounds to me is that you're really enjoying it, and you're kind of getting into the business aspects too a little bit. With those business aspects, is it still as enjoyable when you have to take those into account?
Streaming as a whole, just the streaming portion and communicating with people who follow me and watch my streams and whatnot, that portion of it, yes, is still as enjoyable. There are still times where I will, behind the scenes and whatnot, will look at things and be like, well, why did this not blow up as much as I expected it to? Or, why is this not getting as much attention? Or what did I do differently from this person that they did it so well and I guess I didn't? There have been times, to be totally honest, where one of my moderators and I have had conversations behind the scenes about our YouTube analytics. And honestly, he helps me a lot with moderation, but he also helps me a lot with the shorts and long form videos and whatnot on my YouTube channel. And, he'll message me every now and then and he'll be like, well, this didn't hit the ratios we were looking for. There's like this percentage that you have to look out for. It's like the 70-30 split, where it's like if it's 70% people watched, 30% people swiped away, like that's supposed to be better for your video and give it like sends it out to more people or something like that.
Yeah.
And trying to find that niche, trying to figure out like what it is that makes people want to stay and watch is honestly the hardest part. And I get stressed out about that. I know I've been honest about it too on my stream, where I do struggle with things like mental health issues. And so sometimes I will have a weekend where I just want to sit down and like just be left alone. Just be like, I just want to process everything and, just let the thing happen or whatever, and just recoup and try to get back to it like on Monday. I do have some downtime where I'm literally just trying to take it easy on myself. But honestly, at the same time, I just want to lay in bed and sleep for the whole day. It happens. But I try not to let that take over me entirely because there's way too much stuff to do, so much stuff to look forward to. Like I don't have that time anymore where I can just lay around and mope and be depressed. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it does get to me, but I try to make the best of it.
Yeah. And it's just a different dynamic, isn't it, from between going
Hmm.
on live and then trying to create something to put on later. I mean, as you talk about, there's timing, scheduling. Then
Hmm.
if you're not quite satisfied with something, you want to redo it to put it on there. When you're
Hmm.
live, it's just there.
Right.
You don't
Yeah.
have the time to
And
react to it. You just do it.
right, exactly. And for me, because I multi-stream to Twitch. Twitch is my main platform, but I also multi-stream now to YouTube and Twitter.
Mm,
Especially when it comes to YouTube, they keep everything.
yeah.
So it's like, with VODs on Twitch, like they go away after I think like 60 or 80 days or something like that. It's forever on YouTube.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to live with it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just making the best of it every day at a time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And there's always going to be the time when you're look back at what you're doing and like, oh, I'm not doing it the way I want to. I'm not doing this. What am I doing?
Hmm.
Questioning yourself.
Hmm.
When that happens, how
Hmm.
do you get back up on the horse?
Um, so the one thing, it's actually something that's I've kind of struggled with recently. Is that especially with guideline changes with Twitch.
Mm,
Um, I'm a 35-year-old woman, but I know that with the way I sound and with the model that I have, I know that a lot of people could look at it and be like, well, she looks kind of childish. So sometimes it's like I have to be careful with the kind of like not safe for work stuff that I say or whatever,
right.
because I don't want anybody to get like the wrong impression that I'm trying to be a small child doing
Right. Right.
like explicit stuff like that, because that's not at all what's going on.
No.
But at the same time, it's like, well, I sometimes feel like I'm limited,
Mm,
because of my model. Because you go on Twitter and you see all these people like Ebiko and oh gosh, what's her name? Shy Lily
uh,
and like different people like that who have like super busty models and they make suggestive like videos on Twitter and
mm,
stuff like that. And it's just like I feel like sometimes that's the thing that just sells. And I often wonder like I wonder should I have gotten into that market instead of this one? Like I don't know which way I should have gone.
yeah.
And I even have conversations with myself like, well, what should I do like for my next model? Maybe I should have like a grow up phase for my next model. So then that way it's like a little bit older and I don't feel so uncomfortable in the spot that I'm in right now. But
Mm,
at the same time, like I honestly just there's some days I just wake up and I'm just like, honestly, I like being here. I just like being that small VTuber. Like if I were to meet somebody in public, let's say that me being Mirai Xavier go out to a convention and I go hang out with my friends. I'm like that small adult that like will still try to pet you on the head and treat you like you're my child, but
yeah.
then I'm also going to like act like a 10-year-old myself and just start screaming and cursing and acting crazy. So I
Yeah.
mean, if that's an acceptable personality in real life, then I'm sure me being online and me being this VTuber is okay too. And so I just at the end of the day, it's just like I'm just being me, and that's probably better than being somebody that I'm not.
Well, I think it is. I think obviously you have the great personality for it to start with, and
Thanks.
all the energy in the world to do this. But you mentioned something that was kind of interesting, and that was uncomfortable. Use the word uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Has the new stricter Twitch guidelines made you a little uncomfortable, or have you just become uncomfortable naturally?
The guidelines have made me, well, I say uncomfortable, but I guess it's made me like think more about it.
Hmm.
Because like I said, I don't want to give the wrong impression to anybody. I mean, I like the model for what it is. I knew when I was getting the model commissioned, I knew it was gonna kind of have like a cute, like kind of chibi, kind of Lolita kind of look to it. And so with people pointing out things like, well, people don't want to watch streamers who act like kids, like Shondo is I feel like a great example.
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to look like or act like her, where it's like borderline kind of weird. I think there was another streamer that I found recently on Twitter that said that like she doesn't even do anything explicit or whatever, and she had her model, I'm sorry, not her model, she had her stream like banned or restricted for a period of time because she was using a childlike model, like a model that you could child code, I guess, basically.
Yeah.
And so when I look at mine, I'm like, well, I can sit here and say all day I'm 35 and I'm not doing any of this explicit stuff or whatever. I just talk like a sailor and act like a gremlin. But you know, at the end of the day, there's always going to be that one person that just doesn't like you, and they're just going to spam report you. And that's the kind of stuff that makes me worried and kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
Because I do want to make this something that I do for a long time, and I'm only 2 years into this. I don't want something like somebody angrily reporting me or whatever become something that stains my reputation for a long time, or anybody get the wrong idea about me that sticks with me and my brand for a long time. So that's the only reason why I'm uncomfortable about it.
Yeah, well, I understand completely, and if I may stand on the soapbox for a couple of seconds,
Sure.
these people have nothing better to do but to try and bring everybody else down because they're not successes at anything themselves. And I've had it.
Oh, absolutely.
I've had it happen to me when I was in radio, over all those centuries I was in radio.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be for any reason. But now you've got a certain small group of people who are just so jealous and just so angry that they don't have either the talent or the success that you and other VTubers have. That it's much easier for them to try and bring you down than to try to better themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that is the opinion of the host, and not necessarily the opinion of guests on this particular program. And if you want to come at me,
and in this case, the opinion of the host matches the opinion of the guest. But I also want to say that, you know, once upon a time, it may not have been as easy as just reporting somebody and then seeing your success and ruining somebody's life because you get off to it or whatever so quickly. Because nowadays we have programs or, websites that do everything automatically.
Oh, yeah.
And, so if you get mass repeated by different people, then the system's eventually going to be like, well, I guess this is a problem. And then that's that. And sometimes there's no human that tries to intervene or anything like that, and sometimes you just get screwed, like just royally.
Oh,
so
yeah, absolutely.
I am totally in agreement with your statement, but I definitely want to just add that it's so much easier now. Sorry, it's so much easier now. And it just sucks for everybody who's trying to make a living off of this. Like, I'm the kind of person who just thinks like, let people be, let people live. Like if they're bothering you, that's one thing, but if them being happy and successful has nothing to do with you and it's not hurting you, like, just go do your own thing. Go do whatever it is that you want to do. Go play with, Legos, go play video games, whatever it is that you want to do. Let this person live their life. You go live yours.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for anybody who disagrees with me, I'm 58 years old. Come get me. So,
hey, I'm a 35 small gremlin. I will meet you in the pit. Okay? Like,
I did a sports talk show after game sports talk show for a major college football team that went 0-11. You can't possibly tell me something that I haven't already heard. Plus, I'm married, so there you go.
Are you trying to say that she insults you on the regular too? Like, what gives?
I'm saying I married a red-headed Hoosier.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, she's wonderful.
Everything suddenly makes sense.
Yep. No.
Hey, listen, I'm not a huge collegiate fan. Not anymore, anyway. My family is, and so we have arguments about like who's supposed to be doing well in the year. I think my parents now are pulling for Texas. I think which one? crap, I don't remember which team it was, but anyway, they're pulling for Texas now.
Uh-huh.
My parents used to pull for Tennessee back when it was like, Peyton Manning and all of that in college, and I was like, man, whatever. But now they're pulling for different teams, and I hear about Clemson sometimes, which screw them. I think I hear about I think it's the Longhorns. Isn't that a college
that's
collegiate
Texas.
team?
The Texas Longhorns.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But I also used to live in Dallas, and if you live in Dallas for like more than 10 minutes, or you're there for more than 10 minutes, you know that everybody and their mother hates the Dallas Cowboys. And so at first, like when I moved there, I was like, yay, Dallas Cowboys. Like I was just trying to be like, supportive and stuff. And, and the place that I was working at, like, I think I came in one day with like a Dallas Cowboys like jersey on, and, was like, hey, what's up? Whatever. And they were like, you were making it very evident that you're not from this state. And I was like, why? And they were like, you're wearing that. I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong with the Dallas Cowboys? They were like, they suck. We all hate them. Please don't wear this again. So I totally get it. I've lived in the state where I tried to be a Dallas Cowboys fan, and it did not happen very well. So yeah. Also, after being there for 11 years, I understand why now everybody hates Dallas Cowboys, and I too hate the Dallas Cowboys. So anyway.
Well, I hate him because I'm a Packer fan. So that'll.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's all sorts of great reasons to hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
They want to grab it.
Yeah, it was 1 year, like they were doing so well, and then I just remember watching one of their games. It was like they were so far in the lead and everything, and I've erased his name from my mind because I don't want to ever remember it again. But whoever was their quarterback, like within the past 15 years or so, would always whiff or screw up or throw it, like just totally in the last like 3 minutes of the game. And they would have such a far lead, and then they would lose because he just couldn't throw a ball properly. I just was like, I don't get it. Like, do you have performance stress or performance anxiety? Like, I don't get it. So,
They should stop the games in the third quarter, and everything would be just perfectly fine.
right? Maybe they would win more often, but oh well.
Well, the fact is, you're just going to get this. No matter what you get, what you're trying to do, especially if you're in the performance industry, which I consider V2 being a performance industry, you're going to have your detractors, and you're going to have people who are going to try to take you out, rather than try to, if you, to me, if you feel that way, and you think you can do better, try to do better. I mean, is that
Absolutely.
that's not too hard to figure out, if.
It's not too hard to figure out, and it's definitely not that difficult of an ask. Like, if you're so jealous that somebody is doing something that you're doing, and it genuinely fuels you to be that negative and to take it out on other people, like, why not redirect that energy? Redirect it to something good. Like, you think you can do better? Go do it.
Well,
I actually would want to see, if somebody hates me and is jealous of me, I want to actually see them do it. Like, I will support them no matter what. They are not my enemy. I want them to use that energy and that inspiration and that fire to go and do what it is that they want to do to make their dreams come true. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be mad. You don't have to be jealous. You don't have to be fueled by all of this. Just redirect it into something that you can make good out of.
Yeah, exactly. I would put that on a shirt, but I don't have enough money for the letters.
Sorry, I talk a lot. My bad.
No, I think it's great. I think people should absolutely use that as a guideline, and you can get mad at people. I don't care about that, but it's when you take it to the next level is pretty ridiculous. But that's
yeah, like I said, go do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. If you think you can do it better, props. Rewards. Yeah. I do it. I want to see it. But that's not even me being sarcastic or crude. I'm just I want to see them succeed too.
Well, this is what you've done. I mean, you went and did it. You went right at it and adapted to it. It adapted to you, and now you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I think I am anyway. And honestly, like at the end of the day, I'm a creative through and through, and Something I guess I don't really talk about a whole lot was that I was actually a ballet dancer for a large majority of my younger years. I want to say I did it for about 18 years, and ballet included, of course, like all different kind of dance styles, jazz, modern, lyrical, tap,
Right.
some gymnastics, but I'm not that flexible. But I also got the opportunity to go do pointe, and I got the opportunity to travel to New York City to dance with Broadway Dance Theater,
Wow.
and I had the opportunity to perform with one of our like state ballet centers. I had so many opportunities and whatnot, and I would never in a million years try to put somebody down for wanting to do something that really makes them shine. So, even if you're not the most flexible, or even if you're not, the most expressive or whatever, like you still should go do it. You should still try to find your niche. Don't limit yourself just because people around you do it better, or because, you think people won't like it or whatever. Like, actually take the time to go do it. And I'm not saying this like, oh, well, it has to be job related. No, if it's art, if it's singing, if it's VTubing, if it's entertainment, if it's, if you want a 9-to-5 desk job, go for it. But like, make it the best fucking 9-to-5 job that you've ever had.
Yeah.
Put all of that effort and energy into whatever it is that you do, and anything that you do will become successful.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I do have to ask you this now that you brought up the dance background.
Sure.
Because I hope people realize that folks who take up who are in ballet have to be very, very what's the right word? Regimented. Have to keep to you. I mean, you have a discipline to do it. That's what I'm looking for. You have to be disciplined because the instructors won't take it if you don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So has that carried over into other things for you, such as your work, even here online? Has that discipline helped you?
Hell no. Sorry. Yeah, it was one of those things where it was like, I had schedules made for me. I was told what I needed to do, at what time, what I needed to wear, how my hair had to be. I had people telling me all of this stuff. So I didn't have to think about anything. All I had to do was walk out on that stage, do the thing I needed to do, and then I could walk off and sit in the back and, act like sit like I'm a dude at a football game and like, drink my soda in the green room. No, it really didn't give me any sort of discipline to bring to this, even though I wish it did, because like I said, I was kind of told to do everything. I didn't have to think about anything. Costumes were made, cool. I did my own hair, cool. I actually sometimes had people do my makeup for me, cool. I didn't have to think about that. The only thing I had to think about was, are my lines good? Do I look good? Am I presentable? And now I got to go out there and do this right and smile and look pretty. Outside of that, I like I said, I wish it had translated into all of this, but in all reality, I am actually very scrambled in my brain. I typically will say one thing, 5 minutes later, I'll totally forget that I even said it.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person that I can pinpoint things exactly in a mess, but I can't find shit when it's clean. So that's the kind of mentality that I have. And I've tried to do things like planners, and I've tried to incorporate art, within. So I've tried scrapbooking, and I journal and that kind of thing. And so I've tried all of these different things, and it's like, at the end of the day, nah, I'm just gonna go back and do the exact same thing I did. I'm gonna, just forget that I even had this, whole schedule I needed to plan out, and just say fuck it and just go do whatever I want. So, I hate it, but I'm trying to find ways to get around it. Not very successful yet, but I'm getting there.
Oh, I wouldn't say it's not successful. I think that you're an absolutely delightful person, and I'm glad you got this opportunity to show everybody that. And
Thanks.
so happy to be able to meet you here and talk. And absolutely going to beg you to come back
Yeah,
and talk some
absolutely.
more.
Please
Yeah,
bring me back.
yeah, because this is too. We got too much more to talk about.
Way too much.
But we are going to have all of the links to what Mirai's got going on the description for this interview, and
Yeah.
and make sure you tune in to what's going on here because it's good stuff. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.